Now, my colleague Tim Clouser has been covering the state Supreme Court races and today spoke with Tim Kovas, executive director of Full Court Press. Now, Full Court Press recruits and trains candidates up for judicial office from the Superior to the Supreme Court here across Washington state. They're chaired by former Attorney General Rob McKenna. Now, we have a record number, 5 positions on the ballot this November for the Supreme Court. This has never happened before that we've had this many. Some are recent retirements, and you have newly appointed positions that then have to run. Others just, had already planned to leave. This is a high turnover period. And some of the positions are going to be very crucial for both sides of the fight of the income tax, wherever folks come down on that. And Kovas with Full Court Press told my colleague Tim Clouser that voters who may not typically pay a heck of a lot of attention to the Supreme Court races, or maybe even read statements that are in the voter's guide about that, should probably pay attention this year because of the income tax.
We just released a judicial scorecard of the current Supreme Court, as of the end of 25. But that's, there's, for the justices on the ballot that we scored will not be on the court come future cases. So, I would encourage folks, like I said, to do the research, decide whether or not they're happy with the status quo of the courts, or if they want judges that have a different judicial philosophy, and vote according to how they want the courts to go for the next number of years.
And now, on the topic of the newly appointed Justice Colleen Melody, tapped by Governor Ferguson to fill a vacancy back in January. And he made that decision after receiving a strong recommendation from Solicitor General Noah Purcell. Nothing wrong with that, but records that we obtained at the Center Square show that Purcell, who again works in the office of Attorney General Nick Brown, discussed with state lawmakers back in December how to pass the income tax, the 9.9% tax for now, only on millionaires. And he gave some advice to crafters of the income tax on how to make sure that it would be referendum proof, sort of skirting a vote of the people if at all possible. Of course, that's not likely to happen now. We're in the middle of an initiative effort, folks with Let's Go Washington, that hope to put a repeal initiative before voters this November. So that might happen by initiative, but that's harder than doing it via referendum. So the goal here from Noah Purcell was, let's try to avoid having a referendum. Now, Colvis at Full Court Press said, though, that might appear to be a conflict of interest because you've got Noah Purcell and others in the AG's office giving financial contributions to the campaign of Colleen Melody. It's not against the law to do that, and they worked with her before. They knew her. So he said, regardless of whether or not you see a conflict of interest there or think this looks a little, iffy that this is going on, he said that really shouldn't matter. What should matter, according to Tim Kovas at Full Court Press, is that this should show you that the governor's office does have a lot of power. The AG's office does have a lot of power in determining who candidates are, at least, and appointees for certain are to the state Supreme Court. And again, he says that is all the more reason voters need to pay attention to the races this November.
That there is a true question that when you've been an employee, you are hired by the governor appoints you to the highest court, and then in your first election, those folks are all backing you and financially supporting you. One can make the conclusion that they feel that she will be very supportive of their arguments when they're in court, to defend policies that they have fought for, or strike down policies they're against. And we've seen with the current makeup or the uh, before the two appointments, the prior court was a rubber stamp for the majority party in Olympia, and this current dynamic seems to strengthen that perspective.
Now, according to the state's Public Disclosure Commission website, staff in the office of AG Nick Brown have donated thousands of dollars to Colleen Melody's campaign for this year, including a $500 donation directly from Noah Purcell. Now, Washington GOP Chairman Jim Walsh told the Center Square that, like it or not, it's not a surprise to him, given that Melody worked with, Noah Purcell and worked with Governor Ferguson in that office. It's not a big surprise. You might take that for what you will, whether you think that's a conflict or not. But again, according to the folks at Full Court Press, it's just all the more reason that voters should care about the races and have an opportunity to get educated before the vote this fall. So that is it for today's episode of Washington in Focus Daily on this sweaty hot Monday, June the 15th. Hope you've been able to, enjoy the sunshine or the AC if you have it in your house. I hope you do. And we'll see you again on Tuesday.